Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about one of the most audacious, dramatic, and symbolically powerful operations in the Ukraine-Russia war. In less than 10 hours, Ukraine allegedly struck and destroyed Russia's so-called IQ quarter in Moscow, a complex valued or at least claimed at about $1.5 billion. We'll dig into what is known so far, what's plausible or questionable, what the implications might be, and what we still don't know. When we first hear the claim, less than 10 hours, Ukrainian destroy Russia's $1.5 IQ quarter in Moscow, it sounds like a Hollywood blockbuster. It implies that Ukrainian forces penetrated deep into the heart of Moscow, struck a major commercial or administrative high-rise, and inflicted near-total destruction in record time. That's a bold narrative. But before accepting it at face value, let's break it down. First, some background. The IQ Quarter IQ is a modern mixed-use complex in central Moscow, part of Moscow City, the financial district. Wikipedia, it contains office space, governmental agencies, ministries, commercial premises, and more. Because of its prominence and role in housing ministries and federal agencies, it has symbolic value far beyond its real estate footprint. Wikipedia past drone attacks in 2023 have reportedly hit that tower, causing some damage to glass facades, windows, and floors. Wikipedia, so it is not entirely beyond reach or target value. What evidence is there for this new destruction claim? The sources promoting it appear largely in the online sphere, YouTube videos, social media commentary. One video titled Ukrainian Drones Strike Russia's $1.5 Moscow City IQ Quarter, Then This Happened, claims a dramatic event. YouTube, but a single viral video or title is not proof. It is essential to compare with independent journalism, satellite imagery, open-source intelligence OSINT, and credible analysts. Checking mainstream reporting, I did not find established, well-verified accounts confirming a total destruction of the IQ quarter in Moscow in under 10 hours. Major outlets would likely pick up such a sensational operation. Some reporting does cover ambitious drone attacks deep into Russian territory and Moscow proper. For example, Reuters recently published on how Ukraine pulled off audacious drone strikes deep inside Russia, hitting military bases and critical infrastructure. Reuters, that article shows that with careful planning, small, low-cost drones, concealment, intelligence, and surprise, strikes far from the front lines are possible. But those attacks were aimed at military bases, airfields, strategic assets, not specifically massively destructive strikes on high-value commercial towers in Moscow. So, what is plausible? It is plausible that Ukraine has increased its capabilities and daring to strike deeper in Russia. It is plausible that they used swarms of small kamikaze or FPV first-person view drones that slip past air defenses, are launched from forward staging positions, and target symbolic or governmental buildings. Indeed, the Reuters article describes how drones were smuggled into Russia, concealed under retractable roofs, launched covertly, sometimes switching to autonomous operation if signal lost. Reuters, this shows how a complex, deeply planned attack could reach locations not traditionally thought safe, but total destruction of a massive mixed-use skyscraper in under 10 hours is a different level of claim. For that to happen, several conditions must be met: massive payloads or multiple explosive drones, penetrating structural resistance, and suppression or evasion of air defenses and countermeasures. Plus, you'd expect corroborating satellite imagery, independent analysts mapping damage, or Russian official statements confirming loss at that scale. At present, we lack that level of corroboration. The sources making the bold claim may mix dramatic framing, exaggeration, or selective imagery. Some may use old images or altered footage. Without independent verification, we must treat it carefully. It could be a real but more limited strike, glass damage, internal fires, structural damage, but not full demolition. Let's explore what effects such an attack, if real, would have, and why this kind of narrative holds power. First, psychological impact. Moscow is Russia's capital, command center, and political heart. A strike there undermines perceptions of safety and control. It sends a message that even symbolic centers are vulnerable. That is as much war as a physical strike. Second, strategic signaling, targeting a location that houses ministries and federal services could disrupt administrative functions, communications, or command lines. Third, propaganda and morale. For Ukraine's supporters, it is proof of boldness, capability, and reach. For Russian leadership, it raises pressure, demands response, and creates internal debates over defense and accountability. But it also invites risk. If the strike is exaggerated or misrepresented, it can backfire. Credibility gets questioned. Russian authorities might deny or minimize damage, blame terrorism, or propagate counter-narratives. They may also retaliate harder, intensify defenses, or target deeper Ukrainian logistics. There is also the danger that civilian casualties or collateral damage be used against Ukraine's image. Let's consider possible scenarios. One scenario, the strike is real but limited. Perhaps a swarm of drones struck portions of the IQ quarter, destroyed windows, damaged floors, triggered fires in some offices, forced evacuations or disruptions, but the core structure remains intact. That is plausible given past drone attacks on that same complex. Another scenario, the narrative exaggerates the timeline or scale. Maybe the event unfolded over days or was combined from multiple smaller strikes. Or maybe the destruction is symbolic or selective, a wing hit, glass broken, misinterpreted as total destruction. A third scenario, it is largely a propaganda construct leveraging prior tensions, rumor, and dramatic visual editing to create an emotional punch without matching reality fully. Given that, here is how a fact-sensitive account might go in a video. You open with the dramatic claim, "In under 10 hours, Ukraine destroyed Russia's $1.5 BIQ quarter in Moscow," then say, "But let's check what we really know." You show satellite images pre and post, analyses by open source intelligence, statements from Russian or Ukrainian authorities, and cross-reference with credible news outlets. You weigh evidence. Is there fresh satellite imagery showing collapsed towers? Are there structural engineers' assessments? Are there statements from the owners or tenants? Do independent OSINT analysts confirm destruction? You also overlay known patterns, Ukraine's use of drones, prior attacks on Moscow, the vulnerability of modern towers, defenses in place, and the difficulty of full destruction of such massive structures. You then conclude, this claim is either exaggerated or partially true. Ukraine may have struck it, caused damage, but full destruction in under 10 hours is not convincingly demonstrated at this time. The narrative's value is more symbolic than verifiable fact at this stage. What lessons do we draw? 1. In modern warfare, perception and narrative are as critical as kinetic impact. Strikes near symbolic centers magnify psychological impact. 2. Drone warfare lowers barriers. Relatively low-cost unmanned craft can reach deeper, bypass defenses, exploit surprise, and target infrastructure or urban areas. 3. Verification is harder in war. Claims and counterclaims abound, so responsible analysis must rely on multiple independent sources, critical thinking, and caution about sensationalism. Going forward, one should watch for independent satellite confirmations, statements from Russian property holders or regulatory bodies about damage, possibly insurance filings, or assessments by structural engineers on the integrity of the tower. If multiple independent sources corroborate collapse or severe structural damage, the claim becomes more credible. To wrap up, the claim that Ukraine destroyed Moscow's IQ quarter, a $1.5 billion complex, in less than 10 hours is compelling and dramatic, but at present lacks the solid public evidence needed to treat it as fact. It may be partially true, symbolic, or exaggerated. What is striking is how this narrative resonates. It underscores the changing rules of warfare, where drones, surprise, symbolism, and control of narrative play increasing roles. As always, we should hold open to new data, weigh sources critically, and question bold claims until they are supported by independent verification. Let's stay tuned to further satellite images, expert analyses, and reportage to see how this story develops. Thank you for watching, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you believe the claim? What evidence would you look for? Leave a comment, and if you want to follow up when more data appears, I'll be happy to dig deeper next time.